Expectations can make you feel like you can't breathe. It holds us down, casts questions on us, and makes us feel like we're never good enough. Still, there is a deep way to free yourself from this load. It doesn't start with big moves, but with small changes in how you see things. We can learn to better handle the waves of life and find true happiness within ourselves. We are being asked to change how we feel about success and what really brings us peace on this road. In order to live a free life, you need to understand how things work and accept your own inner knowledge. When we want to find real inner peace, we often need to start by looking inside ourselves and exploring the secret forces that shape our lives. It is very important to find out where the huge stresses we feel every day come from. Many of the standards we have are not our own. We get them from the people and things around us. Think about the deals you make with yourself that you do and say out loud about how things should be. Where did these thoughts come from? Did they come from things that happened to you as a child, like when your parents or teachers taught you certain rules? Were they slowly ingrained in your mind by watching media that showed perfect lives and accomplishments that looked easy to achieve? A big part is also played by peer pressure. Seeing other people's supposed wins can make you feel like you need to match or beat them. Norms in society often tell us what a successful life looks like and push us towards certain jobs, things, or relationship situations. These outside standards can become deeply ingrained in us, making us feel like we have to meet them no matter what, even if it goes against what we really want. The pain comes when the difference between these standards from outside sources and how things really are feels too big. We need to take a moment to watch this process without judging it. It's very powerful just to be aware of where these self-imposed expectations come from. It helps us understand that many of these pressures are not flaws in our character, but rather reactions we have learned from our surroundings. Once we know what these roots are, we can start to pull them out. As we become more aware, we can ask ourselves if these standards are really good for us, or if they are just burdens we were born with. Being aware of this is the first step toward choosing a different path, one in which we choose what means to us instead of just going along with what other people say. Recognizing that a lot of our pain comes from these outside marks that we haven't looked into is freeing. We need to change the way we think about what it means to succeed if we want to truly be free from the constant push to strive. In traditional ways of thinking about success, things like job titles, money, social status, or public praise are often seen as outward signs of worth. But these standards don't always last and don't always bring long happiness. When we look inside ourselves, we can find a deeper, more satisfying meaning of success. True success comes from consistently growing as a person, putting in real effort in everything we do, and making a good difference in the lives of those around us. It's about becoming a person who is nicer, more caring, and more understanding. We can judge our success by the quality of our relationships, the peaceful times when we're happy, and our skill at handling problems with poise and strength. When we think about success in this way, we stop needing approval from other people all the time. We stop trying to reach a goal that other people have set for us and instead work on improving our inner world. Remembering the value of learning from mistakes, enjoying the trip, and not just focusing on the end goal are all parts of this. It means making improvement all the time, a core value, and realizing that growth is a process that lasts a lifetime. We can all take small steps forward that make our lives better and more important. This way of looking at things lets us find happiness and satisfaction in the present, instead of always putting it off until we reach a goal. It tells us to set our own standards for a good life and make sure that our actions are in line with our inner values and goals. This internal measure of success gives you a stable base that isn't affected by outside events or other people's views. It gives us the strength to go after what really speaks to our heart, which gives us a deep sense of peace and accomplishment. Understanding that our worth is not tied to the results of our deeds is a powerful way to change your point of view. Most of the time, we don't realize that our successes or mistakes affect how we feel about ourselves. When we complete a job and it goes well, we feel valuable. When it fails, we may feel inadequate or unworthy. The way we feel about ourselves is unstable because of this link, leaving us open to the ups and downs of the outside world. But our real worth isn't something that can be gained or lost based on how well we do. It is something that is inherent in us and is there just because we are. There is a basic respect and completeness in every being that is not affected by what happens in the outside world. Think about a tree. Its value doesn't depend on how many flowers it bears each season, but on the fact that it is a tree. In the same way, our worth as people stays the same no matter what happens. Accepting this fact frees us from the exhausting cycle of trying to prove our worth by accomplishing things. It gives us a lighter heart when we face problems, because we know that even if things don't go as planned, our core stays the same. Being detached from results makes us stronger. When we fall, we can get back up without the heavy weight of judging ourselves. This lets us take chances because we know our identity is safe. We can put all of our effort and focus on a task, not because our worth rests on its success, but because we are doing something important. When we learn this, we no longer have to prove our worth to ourselves or the world all the time. It gives us a deep sense of peace. Our deeds stop being desperate attempts to prove our worth and start showing what we're capable of. It is a deep realization that lets us live our true selves without worrying about failing or constantly trying to get support from other people. Going after perfection over and over again can be tiring and in the end, pointless. We feel a lot freer when we accept the beauty and power of our flaws instead of chasing an unattainable ideal. The world around us is completely flawed. No two leaves are the same, and no two waves break the same way. This variety in nature is what makes life interesting and full of life. Similar to this, our own quirks, flaws, and odd slip-ups are not flaws. They are essential parts of what makes us real and human. We can let go of the heavy weight of constant self-criticism and the fear of making mistakes when we allow ourselves to be flawed. Freedom like this lets us be truly creative and explore because we aren't afraid of failing to meet an impossible standard. Imperfections also help people bond with each other in a real way. People can better understand and empathize with us when we are honest about our weaknesses and let others see us as we really are. People can connect to our problems and admire how brave we are to just be ourselves. It brings people together by reminding us that we are all on the same path, making mistakes and learning from them. Recognizing and accepting flaws also leads to growth. It teaches us that mistakes are not failures, but rather chances to learn and get better. Every mistake teaches us something new about what to change or how to do something better next time. From this point of view, possible failures become powerful lessons. It helps people develop a strong mindset in which problems are seen as chances to grow rather than signs that they are not good enough. When we accept ourselves as humans, with all of our flaws and strengths, we can find deep peace and acceptance within ourselves. We know that our worth doesn't depend on being perfect. It comes from being who we are and how we're changing. Often, the unwavering commitment to the process itself is what brings true happiness and growth, not the end result. It's easy to get stuck on results, like getting the perfect grade, getting promoted, or finding the perfect partner. But focusing too much on what could be or what should be can take away from the richness of the current moment and cause a lot of stress. Setting priorities for our work, our sincere application, and our dedication to the job at hand is a more satisfying way to do things. A deep sense of peace and purpose comes from putting all of our attention on the doing and not worrying about the end result. The joy is built into the process of participating, learning, and giving our best. This changes our internal measure of success from getting approval from others to having ethics within ourselves. It's very satisfying to know that we gave something our all, even if the external events weren't exactly what we wanted to happen. This point of view also makes you very strong. We don't feel defeated if a certain result doesn't happen, because we were focused on the quality of our work, which hasn't changed. We learn to enjoy the trip itself, knowing that each step and moment of hard work makes us stronger as people and as workers. This method encourages an attitude of always getting better, with a focus on regular practice and thoughtful participation. True success is a process that never ends, not a place you get to at the end. By recognizing our hard work and sincerity in our application, we build a strong internal drive that doesn't depend on outside benefits. We can go through life with more freedom because we know that our peace comes from the good things we do and not from the random things that happen. It's about enjoying the process of doing something, letting go of things we can't change, and believing that our honest efforts will always lead to growth and useful experience. Although life will always have problems and setbacks, being deeply kind to ourselves can help us deal with them in a strong way. We often quickly show compassion to friends or family members who are having a hard time by giving words of comfort and understanding. We can hear a harsh voice inside our heads when we mess up or don't live up to our own standards. We hurt more when we blame ourselves, which makes it harder to learn and move on. When we treat ourselves with the same kindness, patience, and understanding that we would give to a close friend or family member, we find real freedom. As part of this process, you have to accept that being human means being flawed, making mistakes, and facing setbacks. It recognizes that we are all people and that everyone has problems, hurts, and sometimes falls short. When we offer ourselves understanding instead of judgment, we make room for ourselves to heal and grow. It lets us deal with tough feelings without being consumed by shame or self-criticism. Being kind to ourselves doesn't mean we get out of duty or let ourselves off the hook. Instead, it gives us the gentle push we need to think, learn, and try again. We can pick ourselves back up, change, and move forward with more power when we are kind to ourselves. It creates a safe place inside us where we can rest and heal from the stresses of the world. Being able to deeply accept things makes us stronger, so we can handle life's ups and downs with more calm. Self-care like this is very important because it strengthens our inner core. This makes us less dependent on outside approval and more able to handle life with grace and respect. By feeding this inner source of compassion, we build a strong base for long-term happiness and a real sense of self-worth that doesn't rely on what is going on around us. A big way to ease the stress of having high standards is to think about our goals in a more realistic and grounded way. Ambition can be a motivator, but setting goals that are too high can cause anger, burnout, and a constant feeling of not being good enough. When we set goals that are realistic for us, taking into account our current time, money, and skills, we are being wise. This doesn't mean we have to give up on our dreams or limit our potential. Instead, it is about breaking down bigger goals into smaller steps that are easier to handle and more likely to be completed. Every small step is a win in and of itself, giving you strength and confidence instead of putting too much pressure on you. When goals are too big or too unclear, they can seem impossible to reach, which can make you put things off or feel stuck. Instead, setting clear, attainable goals shows you the way forward and makes the journey feel less scary and more powerful. This mindful way of setting goals includes being honest with yourself about your weaknesses without judging yourself, and realizing that success is usually slow and not sudden. It's about appreciating steady progress over big jumps, because we know that consistent, small efforts add up to big wins over time. We learn to value the power of small steps toward growth. This practice helps people see problems as chances to grow instead of signs that they have failed. We can avoid the mental and emotional stress that comes with trying to reach goals that are out of reach by setting goals that are actually doable. With each step we finish, we feel like we've accomplished something, which reinforces good habits and gives us a deep sense of pleasure. This balanced approach lets us work hard toward our goals with passion and dedication, knowing that our efforts are in line with what's possible, which leads to a happier and more sustainable way forward. It makes you stronger and creates a good feedback loop that makes you want to keep working hard and growing. A lot of the pain we feel when our standards aren't met comes from relying too much on what other people think of us. We often look for praise, approval, or recognition from other people to show that our efforts are worthwhile and to describe our success. This constant need for approval from others can put a lot of stress on us because our sense of worthiness depends on their short-lived views. But real inner freedom comes when we choose to let go of this need for approval from other people. Our peace of mind shouldn't be threatened by what other people think or expect of us. No matter if other people recognize our accomplishments or agree with our decisions, we are still valuable in and of themselves. For this big change to happen, you need to build a strong inner guide or a deep sense of self-worth that comes from inside. It means having faith in our own decision, following our own path, and being happy with our honest efforts, no matter how other people see them. When we stop trying to get approval from other people, we get back a lot of the energy we used to spend to please them or fit into their shapes. After that, we can use this energy to go after what really connects with our true selves. Knowing that our own mind is the main audience for our actions makes us more brave and honest. This freeing feeling helps us take feedback more calmly and accept praise with grace without becoming too dependent on it. We know that views are personal and often say more about the person giving them than about us. When we base our sense of worth on things inside ourselves, we create a strong base that outside forces can't shake. Taking an independent stance gives us real self-respect and the freedom to live a life in line with our true purpose, without having to constantly try to please other people. It is a strong act of self-liberation that leads to peace and happiness that lasts. When we set big goals for ourselves, it's easy to focus only on the end result and forget about the journey along the way. We may always be unhappy because we're always looking forward to a faraway future and never fully enjoying the present. Consistently noticing and celebrating every small step forward is a strong way to build happiness and resilience. Progress isn't usually a big, sudden jump. It's usually a number of small, steady steps forward. By stopping to notice and respect these small steps forward, we create a positive feedback loop in our minds. Every step that we take is recognized, which makes us more committed and keeps us going. This method changes our attention from the huge, scary goal that is still far away to the small, doable things that we can do right now, making the trip less of a stressful race and more of a process of learning and growing is what it does. Seeing steady progress also helps us stay motivated and avoid getting burned out. We are less likely to give up or feel stressed when we can see that our efforts are going somewhere, even if it's only a little. It encourages a patient, persistent attitude, knowing that big changes come from a lot of small, committed actions added together. This practice also makes us more compassionate toward ourselves because it teaches us to value our own hard work and commitment. It tells us to enjoy the learning and skill development along the way instead of putting all of our happiness off until something good happens in the future. By recognizing these steady progresses, we build a strong sense of self-worth and satisfaction, telling ourselves that every effort, no matter how small, helps us grow as a person. This gives us a sense of purpose and joy as we move forward, based on the fact that we are really making progress. A lot of the pain that comes with having high standards comes from either dwelling on missed chances or perceived failures in the past, or worrying about what should happen in the future. Being deeply rooted in the present moment is the only way to find true freedom and deep inner peace. As part of this practice, we pay full attention to what is happening right now, without judging it or getting sidetracked. The constant chatter of worries and expectations simply stops when we are fully present. When we concentrate on one thing at a time, like the breath we're taking or the sound we're hearing, the future seems less scary. Being aware of the present moment makes the past less powerful in pulling us back. Because we are more aware, we can react to life as it happens, instead of responding out of fear or ideas we already have. It helps us connect with our experiences more deeply, whether it's a walk in the woods, a conversation with a friend, or a difficult job at work. When you fully accept each moment, it has its own beauty and wholeness. Being present gives us a sense of space, which lets us notice our feelings and thoughts without getting caught up in them. When an expectation comes up, we can notice it and then gently bring our attention back to the present moment, choosing not to let it affect how we feel. This habit is not a way to ignore problems or avoid taking care of future duties. Instead, it's about going into them from a calm, focused place without worrying about what might happen. When we stay in the present, we tap into a source of inner power and clarity. We learn how to live with more purpose and find happiness and purpose in just being. Coming back to the present moment over and over again is the best way to free ourselves from expectations and live life with an open heart and a calm mind.